OpenAI reinstating Sam Altman as CEO and hitting go on a board shake-up, tapping former Salesforce CEO Bret Taylor and former US Treasury Secretary Larry Summers. Microsoft CEO Satya Nadella endorsing the decision on social media, posting this: "We believe this is a first essential step on a path to more stable, well-informed and effective governance." Let's get the team coverage. It starts right now with Ed back in San Francisco, Mandeep Singh in New York City. Ed, are we done now? Is this finished?
No, the story is not over, Jonathan. I mean, the key points are that there is a new board in place, right? And Bret Taylor, as you said, former Salesforce co-CEO, remember that he was chairman at Twitter when Musk was buying Twitter, the company now known as X. Larry Summers, are known to this show, to this network. But the thing is that we don't have a definitive answer on the governance changes. You know, you showed the Nadella tweet, but what we're hearing from sources is that expanding the size of the board was just the first step. We also never found out why Sam Altman was fired by the original board in the first place. And a big part of the still to come is an internal investigation about that process. And then, the overhang that there is a tender offer in the hundreds of millions of dollars that's on hold right now was due to be done and wrapped up pre-Thanksgiving. And on the table is life-changing amounts of money for those OpenAI staff that staged the mutiny. So is it over? I don't think so, based on what I'm hearing, John.
Mandeep, there's still a few questions. And a lot of the questions people have are directed at OpenAI. I think, Mandeep, the question I have is directed at Microsoft. There's been a reluctance, I can sense a reluctance, to criticize Satya Nadella and Microsoft, and understand it. He's been such a phenomenal CEO for the best part of a decade. But Mandeep, how did we get to a position where Microsoft invested this kind of money, took this kind of stake this big, and didn't get anyone on the board and doesn't have any knowledge still as to what happened?
Yeah, look, I think the time when they partnered with OpenAI, at that time they wanted to be the first one to, get their hands around this large language model, which was obviously new early in the year. And I think they didn't really pay that much attention in terms of, the governance aspects or getting a board seat. And look, this is still a better outcome than, bringing Sam Altman and OpenAI employees on board, because there is a lot of IP in OpenAI, and that would have just disintegrated. So clearly, they've salvaged the situation, but there's no way that they're going back to where they were, because, look, there are other companies that will catch up, and this puts doubts in the minds of, companies that are integrating, OpenAI in their stack. This is at the foundational level, just like your NVIDIA GPUs. And now you'll be thinking twice, should I really standardize, or is it stable enough for me to trust that nothing will happen going forward?
Mandeep, just to build on that just a little bit more, will this change the way money's invested from Microsoft's side of things in the future?
I think there could be an approach where Microsoft develops its own foundational model similar to its chip ambitions, and they could say, okay, if we're not just going to go all in on OpenAI, and clearly I can see that happening as a result of this.
At the future of OpenAI, you're going to discuss it later, no doubt, with Caroline Hyde on Bloomberg Technology, but let's talk about it. It was the Go Fast group and the Go Slow group. Is it going to change the approach of the overall company given events of the last week?
It kind of has to. I mean, I have a lot of calls out to a lot of the investors. I'm pretty confident that some of them will be coming on the show, but let's wait and see. People got very surprised by this. Remember what Nadella said, surprises are bad. Just to Mandeep's point, to give you a concrete example, the agreement between Microsoft and OpenAI was such that the board, as it was Friday, was supposed to give them a heads up if there was any M&A opportunity or proposal. Well, there was over the weekend. There was an idea that OpenAI would merge with Anthropic, and yet Microsoft wasn't given a heads up. The investors were concerned about that. And the other thing is that a lot of customers phoned me and said, hey, we're really worried about this, so we're looking at other LLM options. But Microsoft's a good option too, because they have a license for the technology. The point is that so many people were surprised, they're now de-risking to make sure that they're not solely exposed to OpenAI for all of their AI technology needs. I think that's a story in and of itself, and that maybe we'll see a more competitive marketplace for all these companies that are doing very similar things.